Parenting, in my opinion, is the oldest profession in the world. That said, you'd think that by now some wise old sage would have cracked the code and created a fail-proof guide to becoming an Uber parent. A host of experts have authored a multitude of how-to books covering everything from surviving the terrible twos to the psychology of parenting teens. How do I know this? I know because I spent many a night poring over these books looking for a midnight miracle. Yet with all these expert resources readily available, why do so many women, the majority of whom are accomplished and confident in their own right, still struggle with the oldest profession in the world? Well, I'm not an expert, I don't have a parenting PhD, nor do I have a decoder ring to unlock the secrets to perfect parenting. But here's what I do know. Parenting is one of the hardest things I have ever done. And I have yet to find that mother who, after the doctor has proclaimed, "Congratulations, you have a beautiful baby boy," then handed her a parenting manual with everything that she needed to navigate from sleeping through the night to college tuition and graduation. I don't know about you, but I put immense pressure on myself to make every right decision when it came to raising my children. This was important work, and I had to be on my A game 24/7. Failure was not an option. As a young mother, I made my parenting choices based on a combination of written resources, how I was raised, and the advice, some solicited, some not, of mothers, grandmothers, aunties, and girlfriends. Everyone had an opinion. Even with an overflow of what to do ringing in my ears, I still struggled with what was right for my children in the particular circumstances we were facing at the time. When was the right time to shield them from life's tough realities? And when were they mature enough to cope? When do I hold them and gently love them through a personal crisis? And when do I exercise tough love? What I learned during my parenting journey is this. Just as I needed to allow my children the space to be perfect in their imperfections, I needed to allow myself that same measure of grace and release myself from my own self-imposed, unrealistic expectations of perfection. While this realization and subsequent action did not come overnight, over time, as I began to let go and reflected upon some of the choices my parents made, I began to understand that parenting is not a perfect science. As parents, we make the best decisions we can based on the information we have in our arsenal of resources. While we may not always get it right, it is certainly not for lack of trying. And as I continue my journey, I am learning to rest in the fact that my choices, as were those of my mother, and I'm sure the choices of her mother before her, were always and will be made with the best intentions for my children's good and in a spirit of unconditional love. It may seem a simple concept, but for me, it has had a profound effect. And while I still may have the occasional setback, I can say without hesitation, I am definitely enjoying the journey.